Imagine waking up to $1 million bounty on your head, not in a distant land, but right here in Montana. In 1996, the Montana Freemen declared themselves above the law, posting $1 million reward for the arrest of local officials. This wasn't an idle threat. It was a declaration of war against the government, turning the tiny town of Jordan into a national flashpoint. The Freemen were part of the sovereign citizen movement, convinced they could ignore all government authority. Their beliefs were rooted in the economic pain of the 1980s farm crisis, which left many in debt and desperate. Instead of accepting foreclosure, they created their own legal system: mock trials, fake money, and bogus liens. To themselves, they were patriots. To everyone else, they were fraudsters. Their compound, Eustis Township, became a fortress where they printed millions in worthless checks and defrauded businesses nationwide. For Garfield County, this was no abstract debate. It was armed neighbors threatening the community. The $1 million bounty was the final straw, forcing authorities to act. What followed would become one of the longest armed standoffs in U.S. history. The stage was set for a showdown in Big Sky country. Who were the Freemen? Disillusioned by the system, led by Leroy Schweitzer, they embraced a radical ideology. They believed the U.S. government was illegitimate and created their own laws and financial instruments. Their main weapon wasn't guns, it was paper. They mastered paper terrorism, flooding courts with pseudo-legal documents and filing bogus liens to harass officials. Their financial fraud was bold, printing millions in fake checks, trying to buy everything from cars to equipment. They called these comptroller warrants, claiming legitimacy based on their own rules. The law caught up. Arrest warrants were issued for fraud and armed robbery. The Freemen refused to recognize the courts, retreating to their fortified ranch. They dared the government to come for them, setting the stage for a dramatic confrontation. The paper kingdom was about to face real consequences. The standoff began quietly in March 1996 as federal agents surrounded the Freemen's ranch. Learning from Waco and Ruby Ridge, the FBI set up a perimeter and waited, determined to avoid bloodshed. Inside, 24 Freemen, including women and children, stockpiled food and weapons, convinced they could outlast the government. The FBI cut power, used psychological tactics, and maintained constant pressure. The Freemen communicated with the outside world, refusing to compromise on their beliefs. Negotiators, including controversial figures like Bo Gritz, tried to broker peace. Tensions flared. An ABC News crew was briefly taken hostage, but mostly, it was a tense stalemate. The siege dragged on for 81 days, a test of patience and willpower under the Montana sky. Both sides waited, hoping to avoid another tragedy. The world watched, wondering how it would end. While the standoff raged, the town of Jordan was transformed. A few hundred residents suddenly found their streets filled with federal agents, reporters, and satellite trucks. The local cafe became a hub for law enforcement. Main Street was swarmed by media. Fear and tension gripped the town. These weren't strangers on the ranch, but former neighbors. Daily life was disrupted by roadblocks and constant scrutiny. The economic impact was mixed, a temporary boom for businesses but lasting anxiety and division. Residents worried about violence spilling over and many were afraid to speak out. The Freemen's history of threats and bogus liens hung over the community. Through it all, Jordan's people endured, hoping for a peaceful resolution and a return to normalcy. The town waited, caught in the crossfire of a national crisis. After 81 days, the Freemen surrendered. No shots fired by law enforcement. The FBI's patience paid off, ending the siege quietly. Leaders like Leroy Schweitzer faced trial, trying their sovereign citizen tactics in court. Unsuccessfully, many were convicted and sentenced to long prison terms, dismantling the organization. But the ideology survived. Decades later, sovereign citizen arguments still appear in courtrooms. The Freemen's tactics, paper terrorism, and anti-government rhetoric live on in other movements. Their story is a stark reminder of the enduring power of anti-government sentiment in America. Follow for more stories from the hidden corners of our history.